Hello everyone, Alex again, bringing you another edition of Guild Wars Corner, Episode 5. So, quick guild update. Things have actually been going pretty well. We got some new people coming in last couple days, and they've been really helpful in getting this guild off the ground. And one of the very first ones, as you can see, is we have a guild hall. Now, with most of the basic bells and whistles. Again, we had one guy. He's been really helpful. Special shout outs to Sully. He's been great and donated quite a bit of platinum to getting some of the merchants unlocked. So the Zunlai storage chest, the Priest of Balthazar, the Guild Embler, and things like that. I think the only last one we need to unlock that is really useful is the merchant, and then everything else is just going to be building out the town, you know, your traders and things like that. So it's been great, and also, as you can see here, we've got aligned with the Kurzik faction in factions. So I always kind of like to align with the side that's more kind of the underdog right now. And if you look at the map, they are, well, they're not getting totally crushed, but they are starting to struggle. So, and one of the other things we did is that even with a few people, we decided to try out a little bit of skirmish mode in GvG. You know, all of the people in my guild so far, I don't think have even done GvG, even when they were back in Guild Wars the first time. So I said, hey, you know, let's try this out. You know, everything is not going against bots and things like that. So we only had 3 people, but we had 2 teams, me in one and 2 in the other, and we had a blast. Or at least I really enjoyed it. So, and it was the first time, you know, trying to figure out GvG, trying to figure out how to get the heck out of our base and things like that, and getting lost and figuring out what the flag stand does and what they need to do, and even then it was a lot of fun. So we split 1-1. They absolutely destroyed me on my team the first time they captured the flag stand. I couldn't quite get it back. The second time I got the flag stand, but it was a lot more back and forth. But this time I took the win, as we're seeing here in this little clip showing our first, you know, kind of internal GvG. So for a lot of the guys that want to join, and gals, this is kind of one of the things that you'll be able to get to experience, or at least I hope so. That's kind of one of my main objectives in creating this guild, is to kind of resuscitate really kind of the main purpose of Guild Wars, which was GvG. That's why it's called Guild Wars, not Living Story Wars or PvE Wars or something like that, like some Guild Wars 2. I mean, this is kind of where it's at, because Guild Wars was originally designed almost as a PvP game, not so much a PvE game. At least that's my belief. But not saying the PvE is not great. Actually, I've been having a blast with that as well. You know, getting through the factions campaign and going through it, but not rushing through it. And I think that's kind of a temptation for me, because we've been doing a lot of Zaishin missions, and some of those missions are in places I don't have access to, because you need to do those Zaishin missions on hard mode, and you don't have access to hard mode until you beat the main campaign. And I've only done that with Prophecy so far. But I'm trying to kind of, you know, get through factions, but at a normal pace, and then go through Nightfall, and then go through Eye of the North and things like that. But there's a ton of content waiting for me in front of me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But for me, I like PvP. It's a ton of fun. And I'm hoping to kind of hopefully get that off the ground with maybe people who have not experienced it before, have not really seen this side of Guild Wars, which is, you know, my consideration, the half of the game, you know, more than half of the game. So anyways, that's what's been going on. Again, we're still actively recruiting. I got 2 more people that may be interested. I got to get a hold of them and see what they want to do. One of the things I do when I do bring people in is I just do a quick interview, you know, either by text or by, you know, by voice chat through Steam. That seems to be the easiest one, and just make sure that what they want to see in the guild and what we want to do in the guild are kind of aligned, you know, and making sure that they're a decent fit. But my standards are not too strict. Again, my only big one is just making sure you have a good attitude, you know, good attitude to learn, good attitude to help, you know, try new things, you know, try PvP, try, you know, Zaishin missions, try a whole bunch of stuff. We want to open up the book, you know, and really make sure that people get to experience a lot of what Guild Wars is that, you know, they may not normally do. Because when you're alone and you're have a whole bunch of heroes and things like that, yeah, you can march through the game pretty easily. And like I said, one of my guys is a real expert on that. I'm not. I make no illusions that I'm a great heroes, using type of character, type of player that can just march through and solo underworld or Fissure. Well, I am not that, but it's a game I really enjoy. This game I really enjoy. But I also really enjoy the PvP and trying to get that going. So because it is kind of dead, at least from my viewpoint. Again, random arenas. You try your luck there. A lot of synced teams showing up. Synced teams being 4 guys that hit the random arenas team button at the same time, and usually they get synced together. So it's kind of like having team arenas, but being kind of jockeyed into random arenas, and you can tell you get absolutely crushed. There's always a monk, and they always know what they're doing, and well, your team gets just kind of thrown together with what's available. You can have 3 elementalists and a mesmer or something like that, all squishies, and you're going up against an assassin warrior, and you just get absolutely murdered. So that's kind of one of the frustrating things with the random arenas, and maybe they can. They being arena, if they ever decide to go back to Guild Wars 1 and kind of address this, then just put in a quick script inside the server saying, hey, if you have people that go in right at the same time, actually split them out, and make sure they're not in a group. Just an idea of mine, but we'll see. There's always Codex Arena. Codex Arena was meant to be the one where the teams are actually aligned up, with active players, but of course that place has a quarter-inch of dust on it right now. From the few people that have tried it, I've heard that it's actually a lot of fun, but just trying to get that group together, and trying it out. It's a different format of PvP, of course, because it's what's called a closed deck PvP. There's a certain list of skills that you have to combine, so it's not your whole portfolio, and thankfully the skills are not limited to just the ones you have unlocked. If the skill's on the deck that day, you will have access to that skill. So I would like to try that at some point. Hopefully we get some more people and we can get in there and give it a shot, and we'll kind of go from there. So anyways, moving on. Like I said, a lot of the work in the guild right now has been trying to get things going, but I've also been doing a lot of PvE as well in Echavald Forest. Again, went with the Kurzik faction and just marching through there, and it's been a lot of fun. I must admit, it's been great. So now, one of the things that I've noticed this week, which is actually very good news, is something I pointed out about 2 episodes ago, and that was lag really starting to show up, really starting to spiking, and it looks like it's starting to go away. It's starting to fix itself. Actually this weekend, last couple days, especially this weekend, I've basically had no problems with lag whatsoever. No rubber banding, or maybe once or twice, here and there, but it's back to normal. And I really took a look at and see what was happening. And I think what was really happening wasn't just the Steam sale that was going on. I think that was a factor, but there was a very large hacker attack over the last weekend or so. And again, I'm sure we all play other games, but we've heard this on the news a lot. If you've been in World of Warcraft, or what was another one that got hit really hard? EVE Online got hit hard. Sony PlayStation Network, any other of those got hit. Well, one of the ones that got hit as well was Guild Wars 2. And Guild Wars 1 is on the same server as Guild Wars 2. So anything that happens to Guild Wars 2 happens to Guild Wars 1 as well. And thankfully Guild Wars 1 is very little overhead in the server in comparison to Guild Wars 2, which is one of the great reasons that Guild Wars 1 can be kept alive, because frankly it's kind of running in the background, and they're not keeping a dedicated set of servers on just to keep Guild Wars 1 going. If that was, then there could be a real risk that things would be shut down. But getting back on topic, Guild Wars 2 got hit with this hacker attack. It was from some group, I think it's called the Lizard Squad or something along those lines, and they wanted to prove that they're the bad boys on the block, and one thing about the hacking community, it really is a measurement contest. Okay, what you can do, and just being how much of a jerk you can be. So, and that was the case here. So I think they've got, they being Arena, again, they've got things kind of squared away. It looks like the lag is coming back down. They got the DDoS attacks under control and are kind of moving on. So if you've been having a lot of lag issues over the last week or so, I think if you try now, they should be cleaned up mostly. Again, from one of the topic posts, I hear that's still kind of an issue with Europe, but the European servers, again, I think because of distance, they have a little more latency than most, so there may be a separate issue there. But with the North American servers, it's been a lot better last day or so, so that's good to know. And that has really been it. Again, just focusing on the guild, trying to get things going, and really looking forward to having more people. It's been a total game changer having people to play with again, and if that wasn't the case, I frankly would probably be gone from Guild Wars by this point. Playing by myself is just not fun at all, especially a game like Guild Wars that was designed to be a multiplayer game from the ground up. And if you can't really do it that way, then you're missing out on most of the game and what makes the game special. So if you get the chance to really be part of a team, be part of a group, be part of a guild, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be mine, it can be anyone's, then you're really doing yourself a favor in getting through the game. In fact, even recently we did a Zeisha mission on Saturday morning, and we're like, oh my god, we have 8 humans here, we have 8 people. Well, when was the last time this ever happened? Again, special shout outs to Nico. She's been great. She always is able to rally the troops, and again, she's over in Europe, so trying to be on her time zone in North America, of course, is always difficult. But we're trying to get more people here in North America. And that's one of the things I also noticed is that the EU, the European community, has really been doing the heavy lifting in keeping Guild Wars alive. I mean, they have been awesome in trying to keep things going. From my point of view, they've been the most active. They didn't all jump ship immediately into Guild Wars 2, or if they did, they came back sooner than North America. I think one of the things with North American players is we always kind of jump on the newest, shiniest thing that comes around the block, and it's very human nature, and we kind of not look back, even with better gameplay. And there's always that old classical argument between graphics and gameplay, and as long as the graphics are good, if the gameplay is great, then it's always worthwhile to go back than trying to play something that has great graphics when the gameplay is mediocre. And in this case, I'm actually not insinuating Guild Wars 2. It actually has quite good gameplay in the PvE arena, but it's very different, as I had mentioned before, to Guild Wars 1, and you're not going to find the Guild Wars 1 type of gameplay in Guild Wars 2. And that's been kind of an issue for people that really enjoyed Guild Wars and the style of gameplay that was available in Guild Wars, which is more PvP focused rather than strictly PvE focused. So you still see people playing Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. Its graphics is from 1985. Still works, still great. Well, let's talk, if you want to go back even later, let's talk about the graphics of chess. Again, that's a whole nother thing. And that's a game that's hundreds and hundreds of years old, and there's games even older than that. But with Guild Wars, again, as I had mentioned, I think the gameplay is there. I think the graphics is there. We just need to kind of keep going and hopefully have people take another look. Because again, it's comment after comment of comment I see in YouTube, I see in the Steam forums, I see in more of the public places of, oh, Guild Wars 1 was great. Well, Guild Wars 1 didn't leave. It's still here. If you want to come back, you're more than welcome to come back. You don't have to stay committed to a game you don't think holds up to the standard that you've enjoyed before. You can always come back when it's available. They didn't shut the servers down. So anyways, that's my little spiel, my little soapbox again. It doesn't take me long to get going on a topic and kind of go from there. But again, just reiterating, the lag has been cleaned up, which has been great. Again, this game was almost unplayable a weekend ago, but that has thankfully no longer been an issue. And trying to get people involved again. So anyways, I'm going to close it for this week, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to try and do these at least once a week, but we'll see. I try not to hold myself to a very tight schedule, but I am going to try and do at least once a week. So, and we'll see how it goes from there. You never know with real life. Things can pop up, but things have been going fairly well, and I'm going to again give most of my attention to the guild and getting that going. Again, it's a very early time, and this is the time that's kind of most critical. And what I'm hoping for is that the guild, Digital Conquest, gets that critical mass of where it's self-sustaining. I can take a little more of a hands-off approach, you know, at that point. But again, we're just starting. We're not there yet, and we'll kind of go from there. So anyways, good luck, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.